Welcome back, everyone, to another session of Pro to Pro. I have PowerOfEvil here with me after that crazy game. Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you.
I have a few clips. The first one's going to be this Rift Herald fight. So before anything, obviously you guys are pathing up towards it right now. You see that Hoon is headed up. So can you tell me first, do you know that they're doing it? And if so, are you looking to fight it, or tell me about the counts before it?
Yeah, so right here, we're talking about like how they could already be on Rift Herald, and we know like, I think we're thinking that they could be on Rift Herald from like 8 minute and 15. So it wouldn't be dead just yet, but it's like cutting it really, really close.
Right. You pan over here really quick, and it's hard. Well, you see the HP first.
Yeah, it's 2K. Juan is calling out that it's 2K here, right?
All right,
so by this point, like I'm a bit sad I'm missing this mid wave, you know?
Yeah,
but I know it's going to be a fight. So then here we're just calling like, fight looks really, really good. Juan got an insane Wukong setup. Jace hits everything, and like we're saying Nami no flash. I mean, the fight is just fun, you know, like enemy team tried to disrespectfully like take it on no prio. So
at this point, do you know that the enemy AD carry is pathing up Berserker? Because you actually run into Lucian here, and you guys pretty much win this 4v5.
Yeah, so about 5 seconds ago, we're already talking about oh, that's so cool, actually. Wow.
Right, so right about here?
Yeah, so right about here, a little bit before, we're talking about like Lucians can be here. We don't want to like funnel into a zero shuffle, right? And this guy just like, he sees me taking the crab and he's mad, I guess, so he keeps walking forward. Poo flashes the Azir, right? And then at this point, I'm like, oh, this guy's level 5, like, you can just kill this guy. Man, I'm a bit rusty on the Yone. I missed 2 Qs, but this guy's just like, yeah, I mean, he has to both flash, so.
Sick. That was a great fight from you guys. Let's bring up the second clip here. I actually don't have control of that, so we're gonna need, here we go. So then this is a crazy fight. You guys were doing Baron before this. You guys got off and went off. So I actually can't control it, but let's hit play. Can you tell me a little bit about what you guys are trying to do here?
Yeah, so pretty much we're just trying to make them come into us, trying to land some poke. You know, obviously the Seraphine comps, like you just heal a lot later in the game. And yeah, I mean, obviously, I think Fudge ends up walking in with no vision, killing himself. Luger's getting real hypey here, going forward, flashing forward on Seraphine.
Yeah, I saw this. This was crazy, actually.
Yeah, this was like, I was like, oh my God, Luger. You're just going. But he doesn't take any damage. Like, he's so fucking tanky, man. Yeah, and then after this fight is done, we're talking about like what we need to do next in the game, like who we're chasing, right?
Gotcha.
And at this point, like I saw Trundle going down to go do Dragon, right? And I saw Azir was going. And I'm just telling my team, like, Jace TP in, come here. I'll, like, try to stall. I want to see if they're on it, right?
Gotcha. So this was your call, because I wanted to know who made the call for the TP here. I thought that was really smart.
Yeah. So, I mean, here, it's like, if we get Hextech Soul, it's, like, the strongest dragon in the game by far. Not even close, right? The game just ends. So, like, I'm just doing my best to stall here, waiting for Jace. Obviously, Jensen didn't know that this guy was still here. And, yeah, I mean, just making distance and stalling time. If we win this fight, the game is, like, 99.9% over. Like, we have to disconnect, you know?
Gotcha. So that was the fight that you thought where you won the game. It wasn't any time before that fight?
Yeah, I mean, that fight was like, before it was like maybe we'd get caught out with like an Azir shuffle. But like, I thought the game was like 80% chance we win before, and then this was just game end.
Okay, awesome, sick. So that's all that I have for you today. Thank you for that. I'm actually gonna send you over to the State Farm analyst desk, so feel free to head on over.
Nice. Hello, sir.
Come on down.
Nice.
The State Farm analyst desk.
Yeah, Raz has been keeping your chair warm for you.
I like this.
Welcome. I loved watching you watch Luger, like rewatch that play with Luger, because the way you reacted to that in the replay was all of us back here watching it live in that moment. That was like, what is he doing? He's so aggro.
Yeah, live in that moment, that was also my reaction. I was like, whoa. Everyone follow the call, I guess.
What I will say, though, is that keys into kind of a defining thing about this CLG roster, or at least what's been kind of one of the pervasive pieces of a commentary on the team, is that you guys are so willing to fight, push the pace, look for, you know, interesting angles, maybe reach a little bit too far, and sure, sometimes that'll bite you, but more often than not, it's resulted in victories, and here you guys are still keeping pace in a tie for third place, now only between 2 teams, as you took down one of your opponents. Like, was this a conscious decision for the team in terms of a style of play? Like, was it aggression?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure in the game, especially today, even like Luger's on Seraphine is like, man, like this game's going so long, you know? And we're just like, yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, we're playing Seraphine comps.
You chose Seraphine.
Yeah, we're just getting bored.
Seraphine comps, you know?
Luger's so amazing. Like, why is this game taking forever?
Yeah. So I mean, like, I would say like maybe we're a little bit impatient, but like at the same time, we're all willing to just throw our bodies and fight, right? I mean, you can even see me like, I 1-for-1 spend for fun, you know, like ulted him down mid.
And then flashed him under the turret. Yeah, that was great.
He threw up a smiley face afterwards, you know?
You knew you had to dunk on him then. Yeah. Emily, you got something?
So one of the things I see from the most proactive teams in the world is the idea that fighting for nothing isn't actually a thing. And you guys are one of the bloodiest early game teams in the LCS. So what goes into your decision making, especially in the first 15 minutes of the game, of what you're going to fight for and when?
So I would just say for like a comp like this, right? We just know that if we get to late game, we're probably just gonna end up like smashing the enemy team. And I think Contracts is actually really good at like finding angles. So we have like a general game plan of who we need to protect and like where we need to ward and what's gonna happen, right? But you know, you only need to follow those like really loosely, right? And if you see angles, you see angles. And Contracts is really good at that, so.
Tell me about, in this case, because we see the Yone, even halfway through the game, we kind of like mentally were like, oh, wait a minute, that's not Dokla on Yone. That you can actually, now you're on this team in which you can just early pick the Yone, maybe in a future future patch, you can go for a Kali or something like that. And you can find like, it's actually fitting in the drafts so much better simply because you have other players that can basically play this, right?
Yeah.
How's that been being alongside Dokla and like, is there fighting in the draft? It's like, no, this is a good Yone for me. This is a good Yone angle for me. Like, how's that?
We call it the Yone token. And if he's playing it too much, then I'm getting the Yone.
That's awesome.
I don't have any specific thing. I just thought your favorite song was, or favorite band is Paramore.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I respect it. I gotta say, what's your favorite one since it says if you're gonna sing it? Misery Business, Into
Yeah,
You.
Misery Business. Oh wait,
All right.
Into You is pretty high up there too.
It's a banger.
They've got a lot of
Yeah.
great music. Got a lot of great
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
Haley Williams.
Sorry to
badass.
derail the
But actually, you made me think of another question in that because I see just above it, favorite hobby is sleeping. But that just makes me think of the CLG piece of content that came out last week, the Fox Nest.
Fox Nest, yeah.
I'm just curious now that that's been revealed to the world. Are the other players trying to encroach on your sacred space, or like, or do you still have eminent domain over the rafters?
That's mostly mine. Pooh
Okay.
came up there one time, you know, checked it out. But
and never again.
yeah, never.
Because
It was,
What was the punishment? Not telling him of a roam timer? Never don't encroach on my space.
dip out of vision on mid, not call missing.
Never roaming down to your lane again. How dare you? Amazing. CLG is, I mean, it's just been such an impressive piece of growth throughout the entire year. Again, I mentioned that you guys are still locked in that tie for third. I'm just curious now with, a week and a half, 4 games between now and the postseason, like, what are the updated goals? How is CLG beginning to discuss, where you guys are now, how far you think you can get, what your postseason will look like, and what your expectations are as a team as compared to what those conversations were like before week 1?
yeah, so I think in our next couple of games, right, we're playing against Fly tomorrow.
That's a big one.
Then TSM, IMT. And those
Okay.
are 2 pretty, I would say, easier scheduled games, right?
Yes, definitely.
And then past it is 100 Thieves, right?
Okay.
So
close out with
depending on
banger.
how the schedule goes, I'm pretty sure we might be able to end second or, I don't know about first. It's up to EG for that
we'll
one.
see.
that one's completely.
We're gonna let
different.
EG do
But
their
second,
thing, right?
Second,
Hell
second
yeah.
is definitely
Okay.
attainable.
All right, I like the sound of that. Now, again, I want to congratulate you on the win here today. Thank you so much for joining us and giving some insight. We are going to transition a little bit real quickly to our final game of the day, where Immortals Progressive, they ready themselves for week 7. Their head of performance, Robert Yip, gives us perspective on the practice of winning. Take a look. Talked a lot about how much more impressive they've looked since that break.
In terms of the things that we did during the break week, there was a big focus on creating a team identity. What we wanted to do is try and find a style and champion picks that best suited the players that we had. We weren't going to be overtly focused on what other teams were playing or what the meta was at that time. It's not going to be a linear improvement. You're not going to improve week to week in the sense that you're never going to have a down week. You're never going to perform poorly. There's going to be some weeks where you improve in a lot of aspects that you needed to improve on, but when it comes to playing the game on the weekend, a different problem arises or something that you couldn't have foreseen pops up. In order to make the playoff run, I feel like the last hurdle is really to kind of like get that feeling of winning and to kind of flex that muscle, because winning in itself is a habit. So the guys need to kind of get in the habit of winning a game on stage, whether it be a stomp or whether it be like a very close game, and just another day at the office.
Welcome back, everybody. Final game of the day. We got Dignitas and Immortals going head-to-head. I'm Captain Flowers. That's Jatt. You ready?
I'm ready. And I think this is a very interesting matchup, mainly because of how close both of these teams would be to not ending their season next week, right?
Yeah.
The bottom two teams don't make playoffs. 7 and 8 end up going to the lower bracket of the playoffs, which still gives them a fighting chance. And if I look at Immortals, last week, they had close losses to both EG and 100 Thieves, the two best teams in the league. So if they can just maintain that level, you would think they're able to pick up wins here.
Right, because if they play to that level against not the top 2 teams in the league, you would expect it to turn into a win, right?
Yeah.
Like, it is pretty unfortunate with their strength of schedule that they had some of their worst performances in more winnable games, and now when they're really finding more of a stride, it's up against tougher opponents. It feels bad to play at a 4 and lose, and then play at an 8 and lose. When you could have just swapped them and still lost the first one and then won the second one, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's like, why can't we just perform when we want to perform? But the growth from the team has been very real. The biggest question for me is, like, how tilting was it for them to lose those games? Because Revenge had such an amazing Yone game against GG, still didn't win, and they were neck and neck against 100 Thieves until bad timing of deaths in a team fight just led to them getting mid pushed in and dying. So against a team from Dignitas who's yet to pick up a win with their sub roster, it's a big opportunity.
All right, Seraphine, Callista, Poppy, Zeri, Talia, and Azir all banned away. First pick of the draft is Viego for Dignitas.
Yeah, and I mean, eXyu is also a player who's still trying to make a splash. It's such a big opportunity still for Hoon, eXyu, and Spawn to make an impression on other teams while they're having this LCS exposure at the end of the year.
Yep. All right, so immediate Draven lock-in from Immortals, grabbing a power laner there in the bottom side of the Rift for Lost. They've been hovering over this Kindred here for a while. That is more of a shout out to Kenvi, if nothing else, because he was the guy who always was playing the carry in like lower level leagues, able to play the Kindred, just pop off. More difficult to do that at the higher levels of play up here in LCS, but the Lee Sin gonna get locked in for some playmaking for IMT.
Definitely want to play early game and aggressively against this Dignitas squad. Kenvi has had a really up and down year. I mean, he was actually such a hyped Academy prospect for about a year and a half on 100 Thieves. Definitely didn't have the start to the split he wanted, but has looked better lately.
I think that's the most excited I've ever heard people be for Tahm Kench.
Some Tahm Kench enthusiasts.
Just want to get him off the bench, I guess.
It's a tankier fish. Much tankier fish.
Well, we got him locked in, and you know, Aphelios has historically been a good buddy of Tahm Kench. Aphelios loves people like Tahm Kench, people like Braum, people like Thresh that can all protect him, considering he is one of those hyper-scaling AD carries that doesn't have a lot of ways to get himself out of trouble. Having an ally that can do it for him goes a long way, and they will lock that in for Spawn.
Yeah, and I think with that, two fairly powerful laners being locked in, you'll see the support from Immortals here. I see Renata is still available. I would expect Draven Renata to be the lane, but we'll have to see.
I mean, if you want to play Draven Amumu and just all in level 2 or level 1, just try to kill him.
There's a lot of discussion.
Okay, let's do it.
So it's actually Amumu. All right, I mean, that is so all in. Like, there's not a fallback pattern with Amumu when you're bandage tossing into a Tahm Kench.
Yeah.
Like, when you're in, you're in.
You're going in. Somebody's dying.
Okay, okay.
But is it also going to be full, like, solo queue aggro summoner spells with Amumu Ignite, Draven Exhaust, and you just go in and kill him at level 1?
Let's hope so.
Like, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Now, if you're throwing down the gauntlet, locking Draven Amumu before the second half of the bans, give me Exhaust Ignite with it. Like, just full send.
Yeah, it's not like IgNar hasn't played the support Amumu before, but I really expected it to be a Renata.
All right, well, that's what we've got. And now we've got some bans focusing on the top side of the map here in the second half of the draft, with both sides having picked their bottom lane duo and their junglers without really any chance of a flex unless something just absolutely bizarre happened. It means solo laners are the name of the game here in the bans. So Sejuani and Fiora taken off the table. We'll see if they want to keep focusing only on that top lane pool, or if they want to put some attention over to mid, which already got a little bit of fire there in the first half of the ban phase with Seraphine, Azir, Talia all being banned out. There's a LeBlanc ban.
Yeah.
Dig, what's it going to be?
So both teams, bottom lane and jungler being completed. Whatever they think the more blind pickable champion is. Traditionally, it's the mid laner that is more blind pickable, so you think it would be PowerOfEvil going with something like Ahri here, but you never know.
And there's the final ban, the Gwen. So 3 out of 4 of those bans are focused on the top lane. What will our blind pick be for Immortals? They really want to get value out of the last pick of the draft. I think Revenge has been much more of a performer than PoE has been for them this split. So I would like to see Revenge get the last pick here. PowerOfEvil, you can put him on an old favorite. You can put him on his most played champion. PowerOfEvil, Orianna locked in.
It's back. It's the PowerOfEvil Orianna.
It's gotta be his most played, right?
Oh, of course, dude. Like, this guy always plays Orianna. This split, not necessarily. He's only played 1 game on it and lost, but if we go all time,
yeah, I'm talking historically.
109 Orianna games. Next most played is Cinder at 75.
Okay, so it's first by a long shot.
He is Orianna.
Yeah.
Like, he's played it 109 times with 108 different builds. I think that's how you can define his Orianna.
With 107 of them having Nashor.
Yeah. Depends on the patch. This one is going to be shield bow. No, we'll see. We'll see.
All right, so we've got the Ornn locked in for Dig. They immediately are going to pick up their blind pick top laner here. Just get something that's able to neutralize a lot of lanes, has some powerful teamfight presence, really good engage too, which they did not have before this was locked in their draft. They also already know the enemy mid laner. They know the enemy support, so there's no Braum or Yasuo for win walls or unbreakables. And then Sylas locked in as the mid laner and final pick of the draft for Dignitas. Amumu ultis are very scary to steal with an AP ratio on Sylas.
Yeah, that's a really solid pick there, assuming he can get through the laning phase. And the counter pick that they've saved for 5 is going to be the Yone into the Ornn. So Revenge did have that insanely good Yone game against EG last week, trying to pull on some of that power. And it's just, Immortals wants to get all their ultimates off at the same time. Like, if they can get Amumu, Yone, Orianna, everybody
Draven
on Dig is dying. But if the game gets too late, that is a beefy front-to-back Dignitas team. So there is a win condition for sure on the blue side as well.
So which one do you like better then? Because it's clear what each one has to do. Do you have faith in Immortals being able to execute on this Wombo combo dogpile, or is it just going to be the Aphelios Ornn show at 4 items?
Yeah, so I'm going to give you a half answer.
Okay.
I think Immortals will win, but I'd like Dignitas' draft more.
Okay.
I think it's simpler to play, and it has enough synergy. Like, if Revenge tries to play too aggressive, the Viego can still go up and punish. I think Sylas can get through the lane phase with Orianna and then scales really well. And I think Aphelios Tahm Kench is just so much more reliable than the Draven Amumu. Immortals draft is just so much riskier to me.
Well, that means fun. Risk equals fun a lot of the times because it puts pressure on. It means you must express your skill properly. And for Immortals, they've been expressing their skill a lot better as the split has gone on. It was kind of like the switch got flipped in that time where we had the off week, we had the break week where they were able to get those 2 weeks. We heard the coaching staff and the players just talk about how they were able to turn their focus entirely inwards instead of having to deal with prepping for other teams. They could just prep for themselves and their own mistakes and their own fixes. And it's honestly just done a world of good for them.
Yeah, it really has. And let's just recap the situation we are and the way the LCS playoff format works.
Okay.
So this is going to... I'm actually just going to save this because I think we have something else that we're going to have to throw to with eXyu. It's a big point on playoffs. We have a lot of time.
Yeah, all right. So first, let's go ahead and hear eXyu's perspective on making playoffs.
To be honest, one of the goals that we have this split amongst the LCS team that we just formed is that I think we can do what Clutch Gaming did a few years ago and make a miracle run. There's 8 teams that make playoffs, so all we have to do is sneak our way in, and then that's when the real battle begins. And I think in those moments, we're really going to shine.
We all remember the Clutch Gaming miracle.
Yeah, I thought that pan was going to have both of them say something, and then I just cut that.
Nope, just let, hey, I
introduced
introduced it as only eXyu, man.
Yeah, that was a bait and switch. Okay, so 8-team playoffs. I generally am not a fan of calling it 8-team playoffs.
Okay.
I think it is closer to what the NBA does with their play-in tournament. Are you familiar with that?
No, you're going to have to enlighten me.
Okay, so NBA has had this, we have time, it's early game. If there's something happening, we'll get back to it. But the NBA had this huge problem with teams tanking when they didn't make playoffs. They have 8 teams per conference that made playoffs and 16 teams in a conference. So roughly half the league made playoffs, very similar to like 6 of the 10 LCS teams making playoffs.
Okay.
But because the lower you finish, the higher chances are that you get a high draft pick. Once it became clear that a team wasn't going to make playoffs, they kind of started just intentionally losing games.
Oh, so it just became League of Inters.
Yeah, they couldn't like admit they were inting, but they were all inting.
Nobody ever admits they're inting.
Yeah, so what they did actually, in the last 2 years, they've changed it so 9 and 10 get to enter this play-in tournament with 7 and 8, where like 9 and 10 start in losers bracket, they have to win 2 games in a row to make playoffs. 7 and 8 start in winners bracket, they have to win 2 in a row to make playoffs. That's kind of how I see 7 and 8 in LCS playoffs, as IgNar just goes in. Because if you're 7-8, you're literally starting in the loser's bracket. Like, your road is so much harder than everyone else, than the top 6, who all get a second chance.
Right.
So it is the same tournament. Like, it's almost like a play-in tournament to me of the playoffs for 7 and 8. And with that being said, like, Immortals is 1 game out of it because Golden Guardians and TSM are stuck at 4 wins, and Dig is only 2 games out of it. So that 4-win number is a very low number that these teams can still possibly reach, and it also keeps them motivated. Like, if we didn't have this 7-8 at the moment, like, Immortals would be completely checked out because they're 3 or 4 games out of 6th place. But that, like, gauntlet / play-in possibility they have keeps them playing.
Okay, so you'd rather see it be like the NBA setup where
Yeah.
more of just like a direct head-to-head play-in for like a last spot instead of a direct full like lower bracket thing?
We are on like the official LCS broadcast. I would personally make a few tweaks to the playoff system. I don't think I definitely wouldn't call 7 and 8 playoffs. I'd make some like play-in format, but that's different conversation entirely. But it's very relevant for the 2 of these teams that they are 1 game out of that 8th spot.
Okay, well, they are both still trying to play in it. It is still possible for either one of them to get into playoffs, so it really matters a lot now. We're getting down to the wire, and both sides, honestly, I've got a lot more. I think Immortals would have a much better time in playoffs than Dignitas would because their improvements compared to the start of the split are much more noticeable. And that being said, however, you already mentioned how hard of a road it is.
Yeah.
Like, getting in at 7th or 8th is not that much of a victory because you still have to fight like a lot of really good teams and not drop a single series. Let's see how Revenge... all right, never mind. Doesn't look like we're going to get any sort of a dive or anything coming out here. He's got full HP, so it's not like that's a very smart idea. Down here in bottom lane, honestly, Draven and Amumu have not been able to put any real pressure on the Aphelios Tahm Kench early. No summoner spells are blown. The farm is still pretty much dead even after he picks up these extra minions that are going to be there. So none of that early game solo queue Draven Amumu madness like we might have been hoping for.
Yeah, and I think the slow pace of game should favor Dignitas as long as they don't fall too far behind in CS across these lanes. They are currently down in all of them, so if it does continue at this rate, like, it will become a little dangerous. But right now, I think they're just like hoping they can get to 1 or 2 mythic items without Dragon Soul being stacked against them, and then start making team fights. So it's really on Kenvi and the rest of Immortals to set up situations where they can be aggressive.
So we kind of want to see Kenvi being able to do what Contracts did in the previous game and just find the opportunities, find the angles, and find those plays. Of course, on Lee Sin, we don't want to see him being the one getting all the kills. He jumps in mid here. Blue's going to take a little bit of damage. As Kenvi now immediately switches his target over to eXyu, who's now down to 200 HP. And he'll just be able to walk away. Viego has plenty of sustain in the jungle, so he's not too worried about this. Kenvi's going to walk back towards the bottom side of the jungle for Dignitas, so that means that eXyu should be able to farm up his Gromp here without any interference. So let's see if Kenvi can keep trying to make something happen on the bottom half here. He jumps into the pit, and it looks like Immortals are just going to start up the Drake here nice and early, 5 minutes in. Actually,
A really good timing for the Dragon right here. PoE has teleport, Blue does not. Also, you can see IgNar going over to help. Remember, Dragon has a more powerful buff this patch, but also has about 30% more health. So this, right now, it would be dead last patch. It takes, what, like an extra 3 or 4 seconds to kill, so really not that important when you're bringing the whole squad like that. And that's actually what Immortals needs to do. If they can't get kills, they at least need to threaten Dragon Soul early, because Dignitas is in no rush.
Dignitas also off to that nice little tidy gold lead here. You can see up in the top lane, Bramble Vest already completed for the Ornn. Sheen done for Viego. As mid lane, PowerOfEvil getting jumped on here. Blue and eXyu going after him. Shockwave pulls Blue into the turret for a turret shot there to make it so the trade actually doesn't even end up favoring Dignitas that much. Both mid laners pretty significantly hurt, but remember that Blue does have the ability to heal up there thanks to the Kingslayer. But with eXyu having showed up mid, Immortals knows where the enemy jungler was. They know where he could be by now, and it means Kenvi can easily take this Scuttle Crab here on the bottom side.
Yeah, something PoE does, I think, better than almost any Orianna I've ever seen is to weave in auto attacks. Like, it actually is
From
so...
the Nashor's builds.
It is so powerful on Orianna. Just like, you actually do get ramping damage from the Orianna passive when you're auto attacking someone. He sneaks in so many of them. It is partially because he pioneered the Nashor's Orianna like 5 years ago. Hasn't done it recently because it's better builds around right now.
But still, hey, it's a good habit, especially early on in the laning phase. Like later on during team fights when, you know, everything can just end off of a shockwave and a wombo combo or whatever, your extra auto attack giving you 150 damage isn't often going to change things. But during laning phase, weaving those in properly and being able to find your victories in small margins in 1v1s can come down to that very easily. Okay, Dignitas bringing eXyu and Biofrost towards mid, but they aren't going to find a chance to do a whole lot. The waves colliding into the turret, so PowerOfEvil is fine, backing up and farming up. Revenge is doing the exact same here in top, but shoving forward instead, keeping Hoon underneath the turret.
What game were we watching earlier where you told me the AD carry was going to die before he died?
That was the FlyQuest game because it was Johnson.
Yeah, you walked in and you're like, Johnson's going to die next. And then like 30 seconds later, he died.
Yeah.
Then you revealed to me that you had glanced at like an internal stream before it went out on Twitch.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you knew.
Yeah.
We're going to have some of that in this game. I want to kind of put you to the test.
Oh, no.
We know Dignitas is not in any rush to do anything with
Jatt,
their team.
I literally cheated on the test that you're talking about right now.
I'll do it too.
I can do this legitimately.
We just need to pick a time that First Blood will happen and Price is Right rules.
Okay.
So
Can't
if
go over.
it happens before you called it, you're wrong. Whoever's closest wins.
Okay. So we're picking when First Blood
Yeah.
happens?
Yeah, well, that's what we're trying to guess. Mine. It's gonna be here.
This might ruin the whole
You
game.
can't kill Hoon, man.
Okay,
He's
never mind,
too
never
tanky.
mind. He just walks it off. All right, who's
Okay,
safe?
not Price is Right rules. Literally just pick a time and whoever's closest to that time.
Under or over closest to the
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay. All right, you pick first then.
Okay. 17:30.
17:29. 17:29. Hey, you said.
Oh, no!
Oh!
You win!
I'm about to be right. All right, baby. First blood over to Immortals because 17:29 comes before 17:30.
Well played. That's the $1 Price is Right bet right there.
Yeah.
Holy crap, man. I got played. I got so outplayed.
That's why I wanted you to go first.
Yeah, I
was gonna
know.
Cheese you.
I know. But you should have picked a lower number.
My bad.
No matter what, it was wrong. Damn, okay, so Immortals gets it.
Yeah.
And now they're going to get the Rift Herald afterwards, so this is really good for them in their ability to accelerate the game.
Dignitas want a challenge here for the blue buff, and that one gets stolen away by eXyu, so he can take that. At least it's a very, or did PowerOfEvil end up walking away with that? Yeah, he's got the fresh blue buff timer, so PowerOfEvil was able to grab it. eXyu has his own blue buff. That's my bad.
Yeah.
So anyway, at least Immortals are able to secure their own blue buff there too, so there's not even any sort of a silver lining for Dignitas. The Rift Herald is in the hands of Kenvi, so we'll see where Immortals wants to drop that one. The entirety of the timer is going to be during turret plates, so they're guaranteed to at least get that as long as they don't have to drop it in the middle of the woods somewhere. So nice plays here. Let's see how Hoon got caught. He just blasted over the wall, and
that was definitely a. I think someone called, hey, maybe they're doing Herald. Can we check? And Hoon's like, yeah, we can check.
It's not how we wanted to check.
And then after he dies, he says, guys, they're doing Herald.
Well, they got the information.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Figured it out.
They figured out their opponents were doing Herald. Unfortunately, Hoon dies. The Herald goes over to Immortals anyway. Where do you want to see him use this?
So it's gotta. Normally, I'd say solo lane, like top lane, side lane, like top or bot lane, because that's usually where you can set up the most kills. I don't think they have great setup for kills at the moment. I want to see him use it mid. I want to see PoE get a good chunk down on the blue. PoE already has one of those turrets. They can get like 3 or 4 of those plates down, because getting mid control for PoE's Orianna just makes it even less likely that Dignitas can do anything in this game. It really limits their options for playmaking.
Second Drake of the game up now. Cloud Drake spawned. Remember that first Hex Drake already went over to Immortals. If they can grab this second one, they'll be off to a nice neutral objective lead, going 3 for 3 on that. IgNar having the ultimate ready on the Amumu is something that Dignitas must be very, very aware of. Super scary to fight in tight corridors up against that one. But it's also something that Blue can steal away. You can see on the left side of your screen that Sylas does have that cooldown available. As the Sonic Wave will aggro the Drake. Dignitas is aware of this. They have a control ward in the backside of the pit there, but Immortals have a 4-man squad ready to challenge here, as Revenge is also winning the 1v1 up against Hoon there in the top side. Neither top laner has a TP. This is a 4v4. Immortals going in and he finds the stun on the 2. Biofrost going to be taken low as IgNar tries to get himself away. eXyu's putting in the damage. Kenvi's going to be taken low. IgNar's already down, and eXyu's going to reset City, but lost. Hits him straight in the face with a spinning axe, 1 for 1.
Big cash in there for Lost, but they don't quite secure the dragon, and they're kind of sticking around as well. I wonder if Kenvi's going to try and make a play here in the bottom lane with the Draven. Trying to be sneaky.
Good. Biofrost is at 1/3 HP. He still has Devour. He did not use Devour in that last fight to save anybody. And I think that's going to be, honestly, the difference maker in not trying to do anything here.
Man, I didn't even have time to Caster Curse that. I was going to make this whole point about how Immortals is in range for a perfect game.
You were really going to do that to him. You were really going to... Okay.
It was actually because Caster Curses are a real thing. I'm not superstitious except for Caster Curses. Like, the game didn't have any action, so we Caster Cursed it by making a bet.
Yeah.
Right? And there was a big...
It worked immediately.
There was going to be a big story here about Immortals, how they started the year getting perfect game. And they've made so much progress that they are in range to perfect game. Then they died.
Yeah,
so,
unlucky.
But it did... The thought of it made action happen and made the game close.
You're saying that you willed this into existence by thinking about
trying
Immortals
to believe
getting a perfect game?
Yeah.
We're going from superstitious up to straight up, what is it, tinfoil hat stuff?
Yeah.
All right. Well, the second Drake, despite the delay because of the fight that we got and because of Dignitas ruining Immortals' chance at a perfect game, it's still Drake over to IMT. Still a very nice early lead for him.
Absolutely. Infernal Drake as well, going to make it very explosive when they try and pull off their next Wombo combo. Yeah, thank you, Dragon Guy. Like, I'm curious to see how this evolves because Ward Cheer Guy was also very, very well received at first.
Oh, are you trying to predict that Dragon Guy becomes a villain?
I think Dragon Guy is so much more appropriate than Ward Cheer Guy because it's like the frequency can't be faster than every 5 minutes.
Right.
That's totally repeatable without getting annoying.
Okay. We'll have to test this. Dragon Guy, I'm sorry if you end up becoming a public villain, but we're doing this for the good of the community and science. So stay with it, bud. We believe in you. As Revenge will just get knocked back here a little bit, disengaging from Hoon. Both those teleports are going to be coming up soon. Hoon's is currently tapped out for an exhaust because of Summoner's Spellbook. FTX Total Gold on the left side of your screen. Lost with that big cash-in that you made sure to make a note of when he got that kill back. Trading 1-for-1 with a Draven that has a bunch of stacks is not a 1-for-1 in terms of actual value.
Yeah, Essence Reaver Rush as well. Probably Eclipse coming in next. But Dignitas definitely making rotation around. I think they're going to be able to trade this turret.
First turret of the game for Dignitas, perhaps.
Close.
Stand aside, flies out. All right, turret not down. So Lost didn't put himself in any danger, but was still able to keep this turret around. Thing is, there's no other bodies down here for Immortals. So one more push if Dignitas wants to take it. They might be able to force this down. IgNar's going to step up now, so he and Lost can defend this as PowerOfEvil and Kenvi shadowing him, but not showing up fully in the lane just yet, seeing if maybe Blue will commit a mistake, jump in there on him, but he won't do it. So 2 turrets now, very, very low, one on either side.
Next, guaranteed source of conflict. It's going to be at 17 minutes. It's actually why I picked 17:30, because I'm like, Soul Point for sure is something that Dig will fight over, and it's also when Ornn is going to have a Mythic. He has an angle here on Revenge, actually, with eXyu being here.
Okay. Revenge gets exhausted, reverts his position there, back
Come on, Hoon.
Oh, nice job of the Fate Seal getting away. Hoon's trying to hit him, flash out from Revenge. He gets enough distance even though he gets hit.
That's a more accurate Ornn ultimate than last game. Hoon crushed that one. Post-flash, he's still able to hit him.
He got him. Unfortunately, nobody close enough for the follow-up there. And because eXyu was top, it means there's nobody defending here in mid lane as Blue had to back up as well. So first turret of the game goes over to PowerOfEvil's Orianna. Jatt, this is a 2-to-1 game. Only 3 kills on the board. Immortals is up 3,000 gold. And they're about to go even further ahead once they get this second Herald, and they're able to deploy that and knock down another turret.
Yeah, 1,000 gold ahead on PoE. It was 1,000 gold ahead on Draven. Now it's about 700 because Spawn is able to pick up this turret down in the bottom side. So it's looking a little out of reach, but it's still playable for Dig if they can get something.
eXyu just committing a whole lot for a whole little there.
Hello, Revenge.
As Revenge has made his way
no
behind
flash.
him here with a teleport, goes back to the Q3, tries to get something. Remember, he has no E. That was just not good from Revenge.
So definitely thought there was going to be more of a play there when he teleported in, but Dignitas just had way more people there than was expected. This also buys a bunch of time for Hoon top lane to actually catch up to CS and either get a good chunk on this turret or just get a really good reset timing. And yeah, he's just going to bop that thing for the entirety of the minion wave.
Bonk. Dunk, bonk. Dunk, bonk. Dunk, bonk. 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 I was going to do it until they changed the camera.
Yeah. Well, luckily, we have a replay because he's still bonking away. But yeah, that just goes in a fog and teleports because he has everyone on the way, but just ends up getting turned on. not a coordinated play there by Immortals. Nice Everfrost route there at the end to secure the kill for blue.
Yeah, and I mean, he wasn't going to be able to get away anyway because he had already used his E, so they knew he had to snap back to the position no matter how far away he got, as IgNar is in some trouble, flashes over the wall to stay alive. Dig bringing in blue, looking to take this fight even further. Kenvi flashes away from the tongue lash, sidesteps the spectral maw. Nice juke boots there from the Immortals jungler, getting out of trouble. 30 seconds until the Drake spawns.
And Hoon actually bonked that turret to death.
Yeah.
He was there for so long, but the turret is gone.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah. Teleport up, no teleport on Revenge. This is the fight for Dignitas to try and take this game. Like, their scaling is so good. If they manage to win a fight here and stop Immortals from even getting on Soul Point, they would turn it into a winning position, I think, in terms of who is ahead in the game. But Immortals still on bigger power spikes. Let's see if they can get them.
Kenvi going in. They look for Biofrost. Shockwave's not going to find him. Biofrost barely stays alive.
Oh, he's so
but the ulti from Lost just rips him apart. That's going to be a nice kill to start it off. But now Immortals are in some trouble.
Okay.
Revenge killed by eXyu. And now he's looking to reset and find even more. IgNar drops second. And Immortals lose the fight. Dignitas get it done.
That is huge. Hoon teleported in after Biofrost was down, lands the ultimate that kills Revenge yet again. Gold is still pretty close, and that's not even close to a Dragon Soul for Immortals, and like the scaling on this Dignitas team is there.
Dragon guy. He saw it happen. Okay, so you said that this could switch that into a winning position for Dignitas.
Yeah.
This looks like we're in that position, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta watch this one more time. Like, the damage for Immortals is so front-loaded, and they need to kind of wombo to get it off, and they burned everything there just on a Tahm Kench. Like, that's basically all their ultimates. Yone ultimate's not up, Draven ult down, Orianna ult down. So when this fight happens, like, what are they gonna do when a 3,000 health Ornn ease into the team? They don't have anything left, so the scaling definitely starting to turn on for Dignitas.
Well, Dignitas have found a way to at least get themselves a decent foundation to stand on here, but it is still a 2,000 gold lead and a 1 Drake lead for the side of Immortals. We still don't have Hoon at the point where he's able to start enchanting mythic items for his team just yet. You can see the Everfrost on the Sylas there that we already commented a little bit on earlier, has Stopwatch and the Fiendish Codex in the inventory, and I honestly like Hourglass as a second item here because it lets him just fly in with a stolen Amumu ulti, drop that on everybody, and not immediately die to all the aggro that he draws from doing so. But Baron is spawning. Means if we get a really one-sided sweep of a team fight, it could really turn this game into a whole different story for either side.
This game is so tense right now, and like, I think the mental of Immortals actually hinges on whether or not they win this game, because last week, as we said, they played 2 good games against EG and 100 Thieves. And I think if they played at that level, they were likely going to win this game against Dignitas. But they picked a team composition that required them to be aggressive early and requires them to make plays. They got an advantage, but it's not that big. So if they perform like they did last week, but then still continue this losing streak by dropping a game to Dignitas, I think that has the chance to just completely break them as a team. So they've already bounced back from being completely counted out at the start of the year when everyone saw them as the worst team in the LCS. They gotta find a way to close this one out.
All right, Immortals, let's see what you guys can do. Revenge currently on 0-2 here with the Yone. Do want to point out, this is more of the traditional Yone build that you see most of the time. Comparing this to the Palafox build from last stream where we were talking about Bork Rush for split push and lifesteal situations into the Immortal Shield Bow second. This is just your Immortal Shield Bow into what's likely going to be the Infinity Edge afterwards. Get the 100% crit, guarantee that you're able to output that DPS there in the fights. There's your Zonias completed for Sylas that I was talking about. Now Hoon is level 13. Now he's got his Iceborne Gauntlet Mythic Enchanted. I have no idea what the name of that thing is. And he's got his second ice item with Frozen Heart also there.
Rhyme Forged Grasp.
See, there's no point in me saying that because nobody would know that.
I just call it like Mega Gauntlet.
Mega Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mega Sunder.
He's got the big blue glove.
Mega Everfrost.
Yes, that's what is important. He's very tanky. 3,000 HP Ornn, like you were talking about. The difference between these two squads, one of the biggest things when we see him in these team fights, is 1,000 extra health on the guy who wants to go in for Dignitas.
Yeah. Hoon is ready. He's got the Frozen Heart. His ultimates have actually been quite good this game. I mean, it's at this point as well, Revenge just can't get side lane push on the Ornn either.
Yeah, it's tough. Revenge set behind a little bit here, 0-2. His farm is still plenty nice, 242, highest in the game. So because of how well he's been CSing, he's not really behind the curve of things. But you know he does not just want to be 0-2. He wants that teleport back that happened in the bottom lane. Like, it's not been a clean game from him. 4-3 overall, 7 kills in 22 minutes. Not an exceptionally fast game. A little over 1 minute before our 4th Drake. I'm expecting that to be where we get the fight.
Yeah, PowerOfEvil as well this is kind of what he does on Orianna. He farms incredibly well. He doesn't die. And then when he hits his item power spikes and needs to be there, he's the one who can one-shot somebody. So like if he's quick enough and finds Spawn walking over an Orianna ball, he can still one-shot him if Biofrost isn't nearby with Guardian and Devour. So that's what I think Immortals is going to play to. They just need to get mid control, push in through the mid lane, move into this spot, and just kind of fight in these zones when Dignitas try and check.
Okay.
But we'll have to see, because Ornn, with how tanky he is, might be able to just brute force his way through.
Let's see how it goes down. 30 seconds here on our Drake. Hoon sweeping through the jungle of Dignitas, making sure that Immortals aren't trying to set some sort of a trap here as Dig want to walk up and approach this bottom side river. Remember, they have the one Infernal Drake that has spawned so far, but both the Hextech and Cloud Drakes that spawned first and second are in the possession of IMT. Kenvi's got his flash kick available. Honestly, 10 summoner spells up on the side of Dig. Hoon backing up here. They don't want to engage on him. 10 up on the side of Immortals as well. So everybody has everything locked and fully loaded.
Right, Blue's trying to flank. It's really important that someone marks him, maybe Revenge, because otherwise he can get a really good angle onto Lost as the Ornn ultimate comes in and pushes him back.
All right, the Drake's at half. Here
we
comes
go.
the Ornn horn.
Okay,
Hoon's
Revenge.
ready to fire off. Finds the knockup onto Lost. Blue stealing away the Draven ulti now. Dignitas with control over the pit. They're going to secure the Drake for themselves. Revenge down to about 1/3 HP as Blue and Revenge are in the 1v1. Oh! Gets the outplay with a stopwatch. Nicely done. Hoon's going to drop on the other side of the fight as Kenvi looks to finish off Blue. Blue wants to turn it around here with a Kingslayer. He doesn't quite find it, but he gets the kill anyway. Blue just 1v2.
4-0-2 for Blue's Sylas. He dodges Revenge's Yone ultimate, still has an impact on the team fight, and takes them both down while they also secure the dragon as a team. That's a disastrous scenario for Immortals, and another good dragon contest by Dignitas.
And you've been talking about it. Dignitas has a 6th teammate. It's the game clock. As it goes forward, Dignitas is feeling better with every single one of these fights, with every single one of these Drakes that is even or slightly favors Dig. They're loving it.
Man, so Immortals actually did know the Sylas flank was a possibility. I think they made the right call with who needs to move over to mark him. Revenge just wasn't able to land any spells onto Blue, so the rest of Dignitas could overpower the zone.
It's the difference between a decision mistake or an execution mistake. Yeah. At that point, it's an execution mistake.
Yeah, absolutely. Mega Gale Force as well, completed onto Spawn. You got to get Blue that stuff, man. He's the one carrying.
Get him the Mega Everfrost.
Yeah.
Like, he has earned it. 4-0-2 here on the Sylas. 100% kill participation. I said it was a stopwatch in the heat of the moment, but it was that completed Zhonya's Hourglass, so it's not like that's even a one-time cooldown. He's going to have that one back here in 15 seconds or so. Still working on even more CDR, this ability haste, man. All these items, giving it to him, refreshing those cooldowns so he can win these duels.
Yeah, you can see Revenge just misses Blue. Blue's even able to get the Draven ultimate. Let's see. Okay, doesn't really do... He actually tags Revenge twice with it.
He gets him with both halves.
So that's what gives him the ability to kill there. And like, this is the wombo that Immortals is trying to do, right?
Yeah.
They get one with it, but then after all that front-loaded damage is gone, they don't have much left. And just like, Kenvi thought maybe he'd have the eXyu damage, but he didn't quite have it.
Honestly, just really nicely done from Blue.
Yeah.
That was stylish.
Great play.
You can see frustration on Revenge's face. He's very aware of how this game is not going the way that he needs it to right now. Dignitas onto the Baron. Immortals are dared to answer. Still staying on it, but DPSing very, very slowly.
Yeah, Blue really wants to find an angle for the Amumu ultimate, so they get the teleport out of Revenge. That's enough for them, honestly. They can just keep on ticking the clock. Like, they don't even have Infinity Edge yet onto their Aphelios.
Also worth pointing out, you could see when Dignitas disengaged there and went back to their own blue buff, Blue just threw out the stolen Amumu ulti because the timer was about to expire.
Okay.
So that was a big thing for Immortals to avoid. They don't want to fight into a stolen Amumu ult with an AP ratio backed up by this fed Sylas. So now that that's disarmed, if they can force a fight soon, hey, he's not going to have that ulti available, but remember that that will come back pretty quickly.
Yeah, it absolutely will, especially once he's level 16. He's just going to be able to cycle between fairly good ultimates. Amumu ultimate, I think, obviously the best, but even just like a Lee Sin kick is really good on Sylas.
I mean, the Draven ulti he got value out of last time. Like, he hit Revenge with both parts of it, and then as it was flying out, it hit 2 other players as well. The Yone ult can also be used to close some of the distance and get some powerful burst there. Orianna ultimate's not so great on Sylas because he can't move the ball around. He just has to do a sombrero by default, so it doesn't feel great, but
if he's in there, it helps.
Yeah, it's something. It's a spell you can cast. It's a button you can push. So let's see what this Sylas is going to do. He's who I've got my eyes on. He's who I think is going to be the biggest single impact in these fights.
Well, just the other thing is, it's so hard for Immortals to get through the Ornn. Like, the front line of Dignitas, Ornn, Tahm, Kench, just very difficult to punish. And then because Blue is so fed at this point, like, he will likely win the 1v1 against Revenge, especially with Revenge going Chain Vest there, so we'll have no magic resist against Blue, who's almost always going to be playing on the flank.
Alrighty, let's see here if Dignitas want to try to start up this Baron again. Oh, nope, they're bringing in the teleport. Looks like they're going after Revenge. He uses the Fate Sealed to get away. Blue stealing that Yone ultimate. 3 blue wards currently disabled in the Baron pit by the control ward of Dignitas.
Yeah, you can just pick those up when you want to. When you do kill it, it will reveal you, so trying to find the right timer. Hello!
Oh, baby, it looks like the right time might be for a team fight instead. Horn summoned up. Firing that one out right between the uprights. 3 points, it's good. Unfortunately, those points don't mean a thing in League of Legends.
Yeah. Those aren't good cooldowns to burn either. Not having the Ornn ultimate with Soul Point coming up soon is big, but it looks like, so they have exactly the right Aphelios guns actually right now to start Baron, so watch how fast this thing dies.
Okay. White and green, top DPS, top range. As the Baron is still going to be aggroed here. Biofrost going into the stopwatch.
Who has a move
Who
ult?
finds the knock-up? That one could be big. Lost is already down. There's the DPS we're talking about coming out from Aphelios. Oh, Immortals. This is tragedy with a capital T. Blue is unstoppable. And Dig are right back over to the Baron.
So they'll get the Baron. They need to make use of it because they're going to be giving over Soul Point to Immortals, who still has Smite and a good job of killing this dragon. This thing takes a little while now. It's a 12,000 health Drake, but a big win for Dignitas. This is a very important moment in the game, though. I think they should have gone for the Drake. I think they needed to secure themselves Soul Point because Immortals is very close to Soul Point now.
All right, let's take another look at how it happened here.
IgNar just gets in range, so Blue has the Amumu ultimate. And now Immortals is kind of damned if they do, damned if they don't. If they fly in, they're open to the flank of Blue. Revenge has no ultimate, so they have no good way of peeling. They just try and one-shot someone, but you can just see how much weaker they are. Orianna ult hits 3.
Yep.
For what? Like, it
it's
doesn't
the very
do
end of
anything.
the fight. There's no follow-up. What else can you even do with it? Dignitas now wearing purple. And those new purple threads got to get them a very nice advantage. The gold lead for Immortals has completely evaporated. They were up 2,000 or so for the longest time. It is now almost a neutral state, slightly favoring Dignitas. But I really want to see them knock down these tier 2 turrets, take over more of the map, and set themselves up to be in a good spot to not surrender that next Drake and give over the soul to the side of Immortals, because that would let them right back into the game.
Yeah, with a win here, Hoon, Spawn, and eXyu would get their first LCS regular season wins. It also puts them within 1 game of 8th with 4 games to play. So actually a huge win for them. The team, basically everyone, is considered like their split is over, but not necessarily if they're able to win a game like this and then pick up more as the season progresses.
And that's the thing about what you were talking about earlier with how close the bottom of these standings are. With top 8 going to playoffs, like, you can snatch that spot. A couple, like, you get a win, somebody close to you gets a loss, all of a sudden you're 2 games apart. It's huge. Anything can switch up. Any of those positions can be transposed.
Yeah, see if they can get an inhibitor broken at least, because yes, they're so much stronger in the 5v5, still 2 Drakes away from a Dragon's Soul. So they want to be able to accelerate the game, get some type of fight against Immortals here.
All right, Immortals just in pure defense mode for the next 60 seconds. Revenge clearing out the wave mid, everybody else defending up top. That Cannon minion will grab a little bit more damage onto the tier 3. eXyu gonna find Revenge here, who just trades rapidly and then immediately gets back. He does not want to be caught out. He does not want to make the error that costs Immortals their base.
Yeah, so even though Dig is so strong in a 5v5, they're very low range. so they can't siege turrets well whatsoever. You saw there, like, Spawn couldn't even walk in range of the turret because if he does, he's on top of Orianna ball and he dies.
Yeah.
So they really need to get team fights or a lot of Barons to slowly cannon minion down these turrets.
Maybe if Aphelios can get a green gun, he'll feel slightly more safe, but
yeah,
he cycled off of it not that long ago during the fight that got them the Baron, so it will take him a couple magazines to get back to it, as now we do have the push onto the bottom lane, tier 2. The last remaining tier 2 standing for the side of Immortals. 5 seconds left here on the Baron buff. Dignitas putting most of their bodies down here, but it's Blue diving the tier 3 here in the mid lane. That turret is about to die. PowerOfEvil is about to die, but Blue tries to flash away and stay alive. Revenge is taken low. Blue into the stasis, trying to keep himself going, but he can't quite do it. Blue is shut down, but he trades his life for 2 tier 3 turrets.
More gold to Lost Draven, so he's gonna have Infinity Edge, and Immortals want more. Blue is the strongest member of that team.
I like the fact that they're going for this. They know they got to try to make some sort of a hero move here. Kenvi going in, trying to see if there's an angle, but Biofrost with a good save on to Spawn. Hoon now trying to walk it off, but a massive amount of turnaround coming out from Dig as Kenvi wants to get away, and the Ornn ulti doesn't find a target. Hoon leading the charge as Immortals have a lot of injured players. They have to back away now. Nice exit from Dignitas.
All right, next objective, Infernal Drake. If Immortals could somehow steal this, they might have the damage to break through the defensive wall that is Dignitas. I think they consider this a success because they broke 2 inhibitor turrets, but no inhibitor being down means they actually get no waves to auto push.
Yeah,
so
no
Immortals
map
can move into the space and think of contesting this dragon.
2,000 gold lead for the side of Dignitas. 1 extra Drake for the side of Immortals. Rabadon's death cap for Blues. Sylas, that is his 4th big ticket item completed. Also has the Banshee's Veil ready. This Sylas, again, the reason that Immortals felt confident pushing after Dignitas, chasing after them is because Blue is the one who died. If Blue is not focused, if Blue gets to play the game he wants to, Dig should be able to take a fight.
Definitely. Both teams just kind of brute forcing around mid lane as well, trying to get access. Blue not currently set up for a flank, but front to back, I still think Dignitas win.
Keep an eye on whichever ulti Blue wants to steal as well. Hoon coming out with the ulti, forces Flash out of PowerOfEvil. Very important summoner spell here. Drake spawning in 5 seconds.
60 seconds until that Ornn ult is back again. We can do a lot of eye contact here with that main initiation tool down.
Immortals just run in and immediately aggro the Drake. At least they can make him mad, make him attack Dignitas a little bit if they're staying closer. Immortals playing this very aggressively. Okay, a little bit of splash damage there. Back in the 200 years days, that would have killed them all. As Revenge,
I mean,
half HP.
Dig is just saying, okay, come through us. Who gets a double
There
knockup?
they go! Hoon goes in for the double knockup, and Blue comes in on the flank, looking to drop the damage, and he gets it done! Immortals have already lost 2, including their jungler. They try to fight back a little bit. PowerOfEvil grabs 1, but there's a 3rd kill coming out for Dig, and Spawn makes it a double for himself. The Dragon goes over to Dignitas, and Blue secures it to bring them to Soul Point as well.
Oh, if they kill a couple more, they can push mid and possibly end, but now the death timers are a bit too long. Baron up in 10 seconds as well, so they should be able to get another Baron. And Flowers, we knew at the start of this game it was going to be a long one if Dignitas was going to get there.
Yep.
6 dragons taken, 2nd Baron going down for Dig shortly.
This is looking grim for Immortals. They have not managed to secure the soul. They will now be giving over the 2nd Baron of the game to a very powerful scaling Dignitas squad. Everybody except for Tahm Kench has their mythic item upgraded into the mega version. Once Hoon gets that last level, even the Kench will be fully empowered.
Dude, he is so tanky. So he's got a lot of extra stats. He's at 4,700 health. Watching this one more time, simple as what Dignitas needs. Blue is up top, at least threatening the flank. That stops PoE from really moving down. But they kind of forget about that Q, which was hid in the brush. Double knockup means go, and Blue just one-shots Kenvi, catching him with the Amumu ultimate before going in with the rest of his Sylas spells. I mean, just so powerful right now.
Oh,
How much
man.
AP does he have, dude? 830 blue.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Elixir, Baron empowered, Death Cap empowered.
830 AP while still having 3,500 health. It's not like this is a glass cannon Sylas that'll instantly die. When he jumps in there, he can survive long enough to get his rotation out, pop his stasis, make sure that he's maintaining that threat level. Hoon's got like almost 5,000 health here on the Ornn too. He's just a giant meatball wall. You can't get through him. But Immortals have got to try to find some way to dig in and defend. We've got Baron up and running for the next minute 45 on the side of Dignitas. Still no inhibitors down, but eXyu is enchanting the minions in the mid lane with the Baron buff to make sure that they're able to chip away at that mid lane inhibitor while the rest of Dignitas applies the pressure in bottom.
Yeah, I mean, really, quite honestly, the super minions are the only things with enough range to get these inhibitors.
Yep.
Who needs to walk and push the Orianna back if Spawn ever wants to hit?
Spawn does have Green Gun, which makes it a little bit easier. Switches over to Blue now when he has the opportunity to step up. So first inhibitor down, that one's in bottom lane. Mid lane inhibitor still standing at about 60%. Top lane wave is also crashing. If they want to send somebody up there and try to take out that tier 3 turret, there goes the stolen Draven ulti from Blue's Sylas. This is that level 18 Sylas. The cooldown on the ulti stealing ability is so short, it's already halfway recharged to steal another one. And now they're just going to keep on rotating from bot to mid to top. Final tier 3 turret is about to go down. PowerOfEvil thrown up into the air. He's dead. He's gone. Immortals now have to stand and fight with a 4v5. Revenge jumps in, but it's not their fate that's sealed. He tries to back away now, but Immortals' health bars are just not there.
This could
and
do it.
Lost is gone. Dignitas are fighting for their lives, and they are getting it done. Nexus turrets are out of the way, and now they're just going to pad the stats on the way out. Dignitas take down Immortals.
Massive W for Blue in this game. 8-1-4 on Sylas. It is the first LCS regular season win for Hoon, Spawn, and eXyu. Congratulations to Dignitas. They take down Immortals.
In a critical game, too. When this is one of your biggest competitors for making it into the playoffs, this is the team that you really want to make sure you're able to beat. And on the other side for Immortals, to lose to those two top teams last week while playing really well, and then come into a game against Dignitas, who's at the very bottom of the standings, and have a game that, quite honestly, was laden with mistakes. It's not feeling good for them. They're really going to have to reset before tomorrow.
Such a tilter for Immortals. They play Golden Guardians tomorrow, another game that they'd want to move in with. Dignitas also plays TSM. So those last two games of the week really will decide who has pole position for those 7th and 8th like playoff play-in spots.
But honestly, from Dig, from Blue, we talked about Blue's personal performance in this game, which was through the roof, but good job for the whole team. It's not like this was just a done deal from the very beginning. Immortals had a lead for quite a while. Immortals was up 2,000 gold. Dignitas was able to find punishes. They were able to find plays, find windows, and put themselves in a spot that they could scale and reach that point where now they're expected to win.
Yeah, Flowers, you asked me which draft I liked more at the start of at the end of Champ Select. I did like Dignitas' team comp more because of the team fighting. Yeah, I still thought that the Immortals we saw from last week would be able to pick up the victory, but it wasn't enough.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't the Immortals we saw last week. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, compare this Revenge Yone game to the last Revenge Yone game. It's not the same. Like, the teleport into the bottom lane, there were just these small errors that keep adding up over time. It cost them. Immortals dropping this game to Dig finding a dub there. As you said, like the first win on the LCS stage for 3 of these guys. That's because you're talking about how does this affect Immortals' mental to lose this game. For Dignitas' mental, this has got to be a big buff.
Yeah, I mean, your first win only happens once. And people often underestimate, because you can throw away like a bottom tier losing team so easily, like how hard it is to be on a team that goes to stage every week and loses. So getting that win is just such an emotional high. You should feel very happy for those Dignitas guys for pulling this off. They picked the scaling composition. They got it done in any way possible, right? And it's just huge. 3 guys that were playing Academy, no one was looking at them for weeks and weeks. And even though we're game 5 on a Saturday, picking up that win, very important to them.
And now, with Dignitas taking the win, we're joining LeTigress and Blue on stage for the Verizon postgame interview.
Thank you so much, Captain Flowers. I've got Blue off of this Dignitas victory. For anyone that was watching, I don't think it's a surprise to them that you got player of the game for this performance. Can you tell me about your Sylas play there? Because it felt like a lot of these moments hinged on you getting the right angle to get in there.
I mean, we have a really good engage. We have Ornn and me, and then we have really good ultimates this game too. I can steal Yone and Amumu. And I don't know, I felt like they were just grouping, they were trolling. So I just said, just go and fight them, and just go and fight, and just, it was simple, I guess.
How do you feel that you and the team made it through that early game, though? Was it a knowing that you're going to scale later? Who's talking you through those moments?
They have Draven and Amumu bot lane, so we know that our early game in bot lane it will be kind of hard. So we know they will have move on mid lane. So if we take any 2v2, their support will be first, so we just wait a bit our timers and wait when Aphelios is stronger to enough to fight. So we just waited our timers and then we just went and fight.
Taking a step back and looking at a broader picture than just this game, Dignitas has went through a lot of roster changes. A victory here brought for the majority of the rest of your team, since it's just you and Biofrost here now. What has that been like going through the new players to the team?
It's different because we changed many players. River is gone, we had Gamsu, we had also Neo, so we changed a lot of players. And it's very different because we need to get used to different personalities, different play style, different comps inside of the game. But in the end, it's still good. You know, we still managed to do something together, as today we won. So I would say it's pretty good and it's going good so far.
And this was a very important win for you and the team to get, being that you're battling with teams like Immortals to make it into playoffs. I believe next you have TSM as well as TLEG, then GG next week. How are you all approaching those games? Because every game can be the difference between making that cutoff.
For this week, we were aiming to do 2-0, because if we win this week, we're guaranteed playoff, I believe. So we just go and we know we can do this. There is not a huge difference between us and other teams. It's a best of one. We just go and be confident, and then we just fight and play our game, basically. That's what we will do also the next week.
Yeah, looking to do that all the way through the remaining 4 games that you have as a team. Speaking a little bit about all these different personalities you're saying coming through, do you, even though you haven't been here that long, do you feel that you had to kind of step into a veteran role at all when bringing the new players in, or kind of what was that dynamic like for you?
I will say maybe yes, maybe no. Like maybe in games, I think sometimes I have to be the veteran because we have really bloody rookies. They always want to fight. They're hungry to fight. So sometimes we have to maybe calm them down or make them sure what we're going to do into the game, so they know that what we do is good and stuff like that. So but other than that, it's been fine. Like I don't feel like I've been a veteran or anything. Nothing special like that. Maybe Biofrost is our veteran in the team, I would say. So yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people view that because of his history and coming into the squad. In terms of keeping you and the team focused, just from your personal perspective, what are the words that you are telling to yourself and the team to make sure you can get the victory tomorrow against TSM and beyond?
That we are better than them and we're gonna win. That's it.
All right, believing in yourselves. I love to hear it. Congrats on the dub, Blue. What a performance from you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, what a win for Dignitas here on the stage. It's time for us to break down the entirety of the day on the Bud Light Breakdown.
Thank you so much, LeTigress, and welcome back to the Bud Light Breakdown. Dignitas picking up a much needed victory. If they are going to live up to what Blue said, a possibility, an outside chance of eking into the postseason picture, particularly considering their strength of schedule, having teams like TSM as an opponent tomorrow. It's a doable task, but definitely still not an easy one for them to arrive at. But this will be a confidence builder.
All I'm going to say is Freak's take on Waiting Room, where he said they wouldn't win another game.
Get out of here,
Instantly wrong.
I knew it was wrong only because single games.
But at least we can verify then that it was a hot take. So I think we effectively rated it.
I didn't think it was a hot take, too. Watching it at the time, I was like, this seems like a cold take. I also agreed with them.
It's an insane hot take considering you have Hoon on that team.
Yeah!
Hoon in time, baby.
He's
Hooned all over him that game.
Damn right.
He did. He did.
It was great. Hoon in time, and he was nice enough to share it with Blue.
Very good.
Blue actually did.
Blue actually locked the heck off in this game, so
Blue
good on
performed
him.
incredibly well. It's just fun that he just has those games where he just takes over. And this was one of them. I felt like any team fight Immortals ended up trying to take into them, they had a pretty good structure. And I think they do this pretty consistently earlier on in the weeks where like the vision control was pretty solid and they just try to bait them into walk into them. Dignitas had a better strategy. So.
No, they are happy to fight, and they found some good fights at that. We're going to take a look at today's Pogs to see who picked up the individual honors across all 5 of our games. As we mentioned, it was blue on that Sylas in that 5th and final game of the day. But Closer picked it up top of the day, followed by another jungler in EG's Inspired, Whippo, and Contracts
Question.
as well. What's up?
What did Inspire play? What champion?
You want to...
Wukong.
Yeah.
What did Closer play?
Wukong.
Little Wukong.
And what did Contracts play?
Wukong.
It's the day of the Monka.
Didn't Spider play Wukong?
The day of the
It's the Monka, huh?
Yeah, he did play Wukong.
Yeah, he did do it.
Contracts?
No, I wasn't saying Inspired.
Or Inspired.
Did he actually?
They all play Wukong.
I forgot.
It's the day of the Monka.
The day of the monkey. That brings us to the standings. EG, they still have hold of first place as they picked up another win today. 1 ahead of 100 Thieves locked into second. But we did make some movement in that 3-way tie for third. Now down to just 2 teams in CLG and Team Liquid. Before we get to the rest of the squads, Cloud9, FlyQuest, Golden Guardians, TSM, Dignitas, and Immortals Progressive. Speaking of that 3-way tie for third, though, and breaking it, it was CLG and Contracts who got it done against one of their opponents in Cloud9, picking up the win and delivering the Grubhub dub on the Wukong.
Absolutely insane game from him. Basically from level 1, where his whole team rallied around Contracts. Poom's roaming up there, sacking their wave, making sure they protect his red buff. They get the kill, and then from there, I mean, he just took over.
Yeah, the insight from Palafox about that roaming, but look at him! Run!
Bonk.
Forget Garen in the bush. Monkey in the bush!
Monko bunk. Nah, the damage, we can't see the HP bar on Nami, but she was like a 3rd HP, and she just evaporated.
400 damage Q with fully stacked Conqueror, Divine Sunder.
Bah! This wasn't the first time. This happened again. This was that moment. Look at this.
Bonk.
Normally for delivering the wins, we pick a singular play, but for Contracts, it was the entire game. And now we are in the home stretch of the Summer Split, and all 10 teams still have their eyes on the prize of claiming the Summoner's Cup. Every game is critical to raising your favorite team's chances, and Grubhub is helping make sure you don't miss a second. Get $10 off your favorite meals for orders of $25 or more with code 10LCS through August 7th.
You share that with the whole team. There's going to be one person it would be Poom in this instance. 4 orders of it, goodbye, Poom. I'm sorry, you're not getting that.
One person gets left out. Sorry, buddy. Drew the short straw.
Look, he's supporting the rest of the team by allowing them to have the gift cards.
Okay.
Well, he was up there for the level 1.
That is true. Look, it is what it is. Someone's got to lose out.
I don't know why Raz is throwing Poom under the bus.
I was going to say, and also, they all win together.
True. The smart guy,
he still gets the W. It's not like 4 of them individually are given a win, and then he individually is given a loss.
Look, I'm just saying, the rest of them are loving the orders that he had given them. He gave them the opportunity to feast on...
Are you done?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay, thank you. As we continue to turn our attention to the postseason, we wanted to remind you that this is the final week to get your submissions in for the State Farm Cosplay Contest. Submissions are due August 12th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific. Now, the top 5 finalists will be flown out to the LCS Finals in Chicago to compete for $5,000 and a round-trip ticket to Worlds for themselves and a friend. Full details and submission template are both available on the League of Legends website under the community tab. So get those submissions in, and we'll see you in Chicago.
Who's submitting?
Not me.
Get me in there.
Well, I would be willing to wear a cosplay, but I'm the last person that should be kind of tasked with building the cosplay, I guess,
I
is what I
can
would
mend
say.
my own clothes, and that is the extent of my sewing ability.
I took 1 semester of costuming at NYU,
Nice.
learned how to use a sewing machine and do some basic stitching.
See,
but
that's already
that
better
is
than me.
so far from really creating anything.
Look,
is
the
really what that
classic is a bunch of toilet paper rolls and just green paint, and you're a Amumu.
I'm going to take that as his agreement to submit, because you asked the question, who's submitting, and it sounds like Raz has just
with
volunteered
his
for the
toilet
desk.
paper. You can ask
So what was that?
eXyu for, he did it for Academy broadcast.
True.
Yeah.
How many days does Raz have to get
August
this
12th.
cosplay? August 12th, Raz, 11:59
Get in
p.m.
there.
I can make it happen.
Okay, I count on it. I'm gonna hold you to
Now
this.
you have to do it.
Okay.
I won't.
Picks throughout the week.
Scheduled for tomorrow, Sunday's slate of games. Let's see what we got here. We got CLG versus FLICKR to kick things off. That's a big matchup, and we talked to Pal Fox earlier about how important it is. Before we get to 100 Thieves and Cloud9, another big battle. Wow, actually, now I'm seeing Team
all
Liquid
of
versus
these
Dignitas.
are
First
important
3 games of the day are massive, but that's not to honestly discount the final 2 games because those are the 4 teams who are most in danger of not making the playoff picture. So, in fact, really, tomorrow is such a heavy postseason day in terms of importance.
Yeah, it'll be a big preview for a lot of the matchups. It's like playing everyone close in the standings going up against each other.
It's definitely going to be a battle. TSM, Dignitas, Golden Guardians, and everything. And we get to hear their beautiful voices when we got live comms tomorrow.
I'm
This is gonna be
excited
beautiful.
and scared.
I'm terrified. But I cannot wait. It's going to be so much fun. Some of the best time, recollections are early days of the LCS where you get some peeks into teams, team comms. But I'm curious to see the evolution of things now in 2022 out there on the stage.
I'm sure I'll be.
Or lack thereof.
I watch Call of Duty and they do live listen-ins, and sometimes it's really, really funny, and other times it's really boring.
Yeah, maybe we'll
I hope we get the former.
Yeah, same.
Maybe we'll get the Lee Sin Cocoon in 7. I think if we get a moment like that, we are winning.
Live comms tomorrow. We'll also be talking supports, as that was the list that we touched on the least today.
Number 1 and number 2 going up against each other.
Damn right.
Yep. No, I lied. Number 1 and number 3. Vulcan and
Mark's an idiot.
3.
Vulcan.
Why is he even now? Just lied to my
Vulcan
face.
What more do you want?
Right here.
You're not
I have so many witnesses. All right. That's it from us. We'll be back here for 5 more games on Sunday. Thank you so much for joining us. On behalf of myself, the Cash, and entire broadcast crew, thank you for watching. We'll catch you tomorrow for more LCS. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, be good to each other. Good night.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Next time.
I knew that one wasn't going.
Gold, mid lane tier 2, has Ornn split pushing towards it, has the ulti available, somebody can join for a team fight. Big engagement with FBI, just barely lives, but here comes River, and he's gonna find the shutdown. This might be what they needed here on the side lane of Zhonya's for leader. A second kill comes through. Can you believe that Golden Guardians may have found the comeback? Abadaga left it, but the chase is there. Leader follows through.
Okay. Yeah, looking. No flash, no.
Anyone is good.
Looking. Third flash AD. Yeah. Taking out this Soldier. Down to take as well. Look at Akali, guys.
Look.
Look at Akali.
Not a single kill found, and here comes FBI. A 1-for-1 now. Jarvan buys a lot of time, but Prismal the only one left alive now. Everyone will drop. Golden Guardians try, but instead they just feed Golden 100 Thieves pockets. This shield back stays the front line. Here's the charm. Big CC out of Vulcan, and we got more coming on Impact now as well. They've got a shutdown on a chime already, and Spica's on his way out, but Danny shows up. Down.
Danny!
Smite unanswered. Danny in the pit needs the smite. Oh, you gotta be kidding! It happens again! Spica's already dead.
Can AD talk?
No, I don't want to talk. I have a mustache on the way.
Yeah, it's hard to talk actually.
It's hard to talk with the mustache?
Yeah,
Hello, it's Closer! Hello. Welcome. Yeah, unbiased. This is the real MVP of the league.
Oh my God!
Whippo, 800. Oh, he's gonna get it down to the pit.
Oh, it is
But damn it! He's gonna get attacked. Goran Santorin can recollect this one. Baron and Core 2v1 Afromu.
Ambitious.
Contracts. Ready to fight against Blabber here, as the eye is going to be picked up and secured by C9, but now Dokla's coming in, and Blabber's going to be in a lot of trouble. He tries to get away, but Contracts grabs the kill. Now Palafox is swooping in, and Sven's in trouble, and so is Fudge. 2 going the way of CLG, but he will force him back underneath the turret. Contracts coming in now, looking for Berserker, and Sven, he gets the knock-up. He gets the Q. He's going in for another one. Contracts made it look so simple. Ups Revenge down to about 1/3 HP, as Blue and Revenge are in the 1v1. Oh! Gets the outplay with a stopwatch. Nicely done. Hoon's gonna drop on the other side of the fight as Kenvi looks to finish off Blue. Blue wants to turn it around here with a Kingslayer. He doesn't quite find it, but he gets the kill anyway. Blue just 1v2.
With the great production that has helped me out, will you marry me?